Hello and welcome again. This is Gordon D'Silva and we're on the home straight. We've talked about why we picked your team to work on first. We talked about how, by getting the engine properly tuned in the right state to be super productive, we can drive our sales up and make more profit. However, with the engine in poor condition, any sales we bring in will be at a lower margin, opportunities will be wasted, profitability will be lost, cash flow will be damaged, and effort will be expended for less reward. We've talked about slicing and dicing your data. We've talked about KPIs. You've analyzed it now. Where information was missing, you've added it, and you are continuing to add it over the next days and weeks. You have probably assimilated the KPI help sheet and looked at analyzing a few more items maybe. Then you began to extract the story and hopefully completed that section, extracting the various stories down through to the individual stories in detail. You analyzed it through your teams, your departments, your market segments, if you have any, your divisions. You have identified all the stories in substantial detail. The reason you are doing all of this, remember, the reason why this work is worthwhile is often we are working too hard for less. We are working harder and harder and harder and getting busier and busier, and our reward is not going up at the same rate as the work and the risk. What we need to do is redress that balance. We need to look again at the models we're running. Einstein once said, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing again and again and expecting a different result. So what we're coming to is the understanding that just doing more of what we do now is not the best thing. If what we're doing now is less than 100% efficient and effective, then doing more of it is not the best strategy. We could do it, and it probably will have an impact, but it will just be more effort for diminishing returns. You will get returns, I don't doubt that. However, you will probably have to work harder, you will probably have to take more risk, you will probably end up in no better position in the short term and medium term than you are right now, allowing for all those factors. We're doing all this work because we want to have a better business, a better grossing and netting business. We want to have a better quality lifestyle. We want to enjoy the business, maybe working a couple of days less a week. One of our productivity programs allow business owners to immediately work a day less a week within a month. That's for another session though. We want to use less time and less effort. We want to have a better value of business. Should we choose to, and I mean choose to, rather than be forced to, as in the case study we will look at the boardroom event, we want to sell our businesses for more money and we want to be able to sell it quickly. However, if we choose to continue owning it because it's fun, we want to enjoy ownership. We want to enjoy the process of success. We deliver this firstly through fine-tuning our team, like a Formula One car. Once our team is correctly formed, structured, tuned, we can then aggressively grow our sales. Once our sales building is in progress, we can begin to improve our operations and pick up the rest of the profitability that is left dissolved in the work we do. What I would like to start looking at now is what you do with the story. The story you have extracted will tell you who is performing well, who is performing less well, whose attitude is conducive to success in your business and which ones are not, which team members form a positive part of your business culture and which ones don't. It will also help you identify which team members need some effort putting in and which ones may be a waste of effort to allocate energy and resources to. It will identify by now which of your team members are good in certain tasks and not at others. And of course, which of your team members are good at no tasks at all, I suppose. And one of the things we train on in due course is getting the right team on board in the right way to minimize this risk happening again. It is hard to find stars like yourself. As the saying goes, if it was easy, everyone would be doing it all the time. One of the things we need to appreciate in doing this whole assessment is the extracting of the strategic plan from the story. We need to appreciate that not everyone in our team is the same as we are. If they were, they probably wouldn't be working for you. Think about it. If they were the same as you and could get the same results as you, why would they work with you and let you take a lion's share of their income? And our typical recruitment director is a star. Go-getting, fast-acting, quick decision-making, multitasking, able to take disputes and confrontation in their stride. They just go on and do their stuff. They're able to put bad news behind them and move forward. And what we have to do is begin to realize that the type that you may well be part of, makes up much less than 10% of the population. As a result, it is highly likely that less than 10% of your team will be of that nature. So the message that you would respond to, the methodology and motivation that you would respond to, is probably not the same as the majority of your team. I do not have time to go through the different attributes for the groups of people within your team, but we will devote some time to this in our boardroom event because it is fundamental to running a recruitment business. It is fundamental because the typical model of running a recruitment business, running teams, falls down in small teams of under 30 where less than 20% are stars. The model, banging heads, sticking scoreboards up, praising the stars and publicly exposing poor performers, for example, acts as a demotivator for over 50% of the team, rather than a motivator. The training, coaching and skill sets that are required to be developed for those not stars is completely different for those that are stars. This does not mean that the non-stars are incapable of contributing a significant profit to your business. More about that in the boardroom event. Consider this. What if some of your team are not motivated by money? How would that affect your reward scheme? What would be the implications to your business if a good proportion of your team were not primarily motivated by money as their main motivator? If you don't get this right, you may be missing opportunities. If disposed of as chaff, valuable profitability may be lost. Take, for example, the packaging of bran flakes and All Bran. Bit of a strange example, you might think. How much money do the big cereal manufacturers make from selling what used to be considered as chaff? Now, I suspect all of you listening to this will have completed at least one psychometric profile, maybe a DISC profile. Maybe you are already using DISC in your hiring system. When I visit recruiting companies that do use DISC, they tend to only pay lip service to its contents. As a result, either the wrong hire takes place or the resource that has been hired has not been exploited to its full potential. And I use exploited in the most positive sense. So when you extract the story, avoid simply throwing the baby out with the bathwater. Simply because they're not like you, not stars, does not mean they cannot be utilized profitably in your organization. They may be excellent at prospecting or candidate finding or matching candidates to employers or customer service or getting high-value listings or a host of other things. Who in your team are good at matching candidates to clients, for example? Think how happy clients are when they get the perfect match to their culture, attitude, and their skill requirements. What does that do for your reputation and your chance for a better client relationship and more listings? If you have a dozen or more in your team, chances are you have a mix of skills and abilities within them. If you do not use their individual skills more and their individual weaknesses less, you are throwing away value. You are throwing away the bran flakes. Just because their overall results are not great does not mean they cannot be profitably utilized. Now, we talked about the stars. I'm not suggesting we do anything about the stars at this point in time. After all, they are fantastic producers and contribute a significant profit to your business. But remember, there is a risk. If they leave, they will usually take clients with them, and that will result in a profit drop. During our board meetings, we discussed some measures you might want to take to protect yourself from such an action. So that's the end of the content of this video. Just a quick reminder, if you are stuck, remember you have access to our Recruit Quick Fix 15-minute telephone session with me. Simply bring your challenges, your burning questions, whether on the content of this video or anything else in your business. It is a no-holds-barred, fast-moving, solution-packed session. We want you to benefit. We want you to begin to get the results towards doubling your profits within 6 months, just as we do when we work with clients closely. If you are already making great progress and glean some useful information and insights, then fantastic. Tell us how you're doing, tell us what you learned, tell us what results you're getting. We love to hear client success stories. If you are working on your own, you may feel you want to go a little bit slower. Maybe take a year or two to double your profits. That's absolutely fine if it's right for you. The important thing is not to be rash and not to make wrong decisions. Solicit second opinions. Typically, you want to approach someone who understands your business, understands your industry, understands you. When extracting the stories, 2 heads will usually be better than 1. And one of those heads should be someone outside the business for an independent view. Maybe your non-exec board member. Remember to hire the right skills to help you. I haven't serviced my own car for 35 years. The garage I use typically do it 5 times better and 20 times faster. And I'm sure other road users are very glad I use professionals, especially when it comes to my braking. Your business is at stake, and doubling your profits is also at stake. Be diligent, be safe. I have not had time on this video to cover everything I would love to cover with you. There is so much more that we should cover together. If you'd like to learn more, please consider booking on our boardroom event. Details are below. A small group of businesses just like yours working together through a couple of case studies where we explore what happens when these issues are not addressed and the amazing things that can happen when these issues are addressed properly. To learn more and find out when the next boardroom event will take place, please click the button below and book your place. I look forward to seeing you there. Until we speak, all the very best. Goodbye. This is Gordon D'Silva, and thank you for listening. Visit successstorybuilder.com for show notes for this episode. We help build your business success story. Get even more when you connect with us on Facebook and Twitter. I help business owners accelerate business growth. If you want to know more, visit successstorybuilder.com.